finally got around to watching this, though not on the big screen. I wanted to see it on the big screen, but the theaters have closed down and it came to digital, so that's how I was able to see it. So anyway, I had heard a lot of good stuff about this. I remember when I watched the trailer that I liked it, but I wasn't uber impressed. I felt like they were just giving away way too much. And then it was mentioned to me that either the director or somebody, if I'm remembering this right, something about, it was said that no, there was more to it. So that, made me kind of hopeful that it would be definitely better than the impression I got from the trailer. So, finally finished watching it the other night. I think it was the other night. And I have to say, I liked it. It was a pretty solid film. The writing was very decent. The acting was solid. The flow was good. I have to say I wasn't as blown away by it as a lot of people seem to be. Like, the reviews for this are really, really solid. But I mean, I don't honestly know. I don't know if it's the frame of mind maybe I was in at the time, just given everything that's going on and all the volatility and all the negativity, and it just, things weigh in the back of my mind. It kind of, it's like, sort of can interfere with my enjoyment of something at any particular time. So, maybe if, the stuff that's going on right now with all the tension and the stress of everything that's happening here in the U.S. and across the world, if that weren't the case, maybe I would have appreciated it a little bit more. I don't know. It's hard to say. But anyway, I did like it. Like I said, I liked the pacing. I'm not super crazy about this girl who played the main actor in here. She doesn't really do a whole lot for me. Now, I'm not really familiar with a lot of her work. I only recognize her as someone who plays in the Handmaid's Tale show, I think. So this is really probably the first thing I've ever seen her in directly, unless I've seen her in other stuff and she was just one of those actresses that I just didn't notice at the time, like she didn't stick in my memory. Anyway, so whatever. It was fun and the effects were pretty decent. It was pretty dang creepy in some parts because, just think about it. Come on. An invisible man watching you. It is creepy. And the guy was an absolute maniac. He was a terrible individual. And so you just are really, and she's slowly being driven crazy. Her life is falling apart around her. She thought that she was getting a fresh start, but it ended up that no, he still managed to find a way to just completely destroy her life. And so that's what this story is about. In the very beginning of the story, I must say, those opening shots, the opening scene in the movie was pretty tense. It was one of the most tense opening scenes I've seen. And it was because in that particular part of the movie, it shows, you don't know their history yet. Slight spoilers here. I'm not going to get into it too much, but you already know the premise based on the trailer. Anyway, in the opening shots, you don't know anything about their relationship. It just shows her lying in the bed, and she gets up very quietly. She's acting very, she's going around the house. She's like doing this different stuff, sort of like collecting her stuff to get ready to go, to get away from him. And so you can tell based on her actions that she's quite on edge about everything. Now, it could go different ways. You could read it that he was abusive and she's scared of him, which was the case. But if you had not seen the trailer, you might think, why is she skulking around like that? Why is she doing this stuff? Why did she drug him to put him to sleep so that he couldn't wake up while she was trying to leave? And I can't remember, she had some money or something, and I can't remember. Anyway, and you might be thinking, well, maybe she's like ripping him off and she's gonna take off with his stuff. But obviously that wasn't the case. But it was very well done. That particular scene, the whole thing in the very beginning, really sets the mood for the dynamics of their relationship. And you can see how absolutely petrified she is of him. And in a lot of ways, sometimes her character seems so defeated and so just like this little tiny lamb, and she obviously seems to have some form of like PTSD or something, because once she escapes from him and she's away, you get the it becomes clear to you through certain things that she has been really struggling to try to live a normal life, and like she didn't even like to go outside. She's so scared. So obviously he's been quite abusive to her mentally, physically, emotionally, all that stuff. So even though she seems like this little beaten down thing, at the same time, she is very resolute and she's very firm in her decision, that she was going to leave him, and she was able to leave him, and she shows quite a bit of strength throughout different portions of the film. Yes, there are moments where she's like completely seems like she's losing it, because everybody else around her thinks she's crazy, but she knows what's up. And she never believed that he died, and this is clear in the trailer. So I'm not giving you any major spoilers, but I just found it quite interesting how she was able to play this, or like this character was weak, and yet not really weak, but like, scared and timid, but at the same time very strong, and found a level of fortitude within herself that she could fight against this unseen entity that was coming after her. She knew who it was. But anyway, I like that, the sort of contrast with her character there, and it made it pretty interesting. She wasn't like, at the beginning of the movie, she had decided she was leaving. That was it. She wasn't like a lot of, she wasn't portrayed like a lot of abused women are portrayed, where they are weak and they go back to the abuser and stuff like that. No, she had decided that was it. And so he, of course, determines that he is going to destroy her completely. She ends up, in the mental institution because of some things that have happened. In addition to them thinking she's crazy, there's something pretty impactful that happens. I don't know, like maybe halfway through the movie or more. And that's why she ends up in the mental institution. And of course he comes after her there. He's terrorizing her there. And anybody that happens to finally end up realizing what's going on, well, the dude, ends up killing him or whatever. So they can't vouch for her and her story and everything. So anyway, I can't think of a whole lot more to add to this, to tell you the truth. I mean, it's a pretty simple story with regard to the plot, though it is well written. It's pretty solid. It's nothing too terribly complex in it to me, as far as the characters and how the story is written and all that stuff. It's just, she's basically trying to survive this abusive guy, and that's what it's about. It's wrapped up in the envelope or the covering of like a sci-fi type thing, because he's got this ability to be invisible. It's not anything supernatural or paranormal. It's all like science and stuff, because he's created this suit. So anyway, yeah, it's a fun film, and if you like stuff like that, I do recommend that you check it out. Most people will probably enjoy it bit more than I did, but like I said, it could just be there were all these, there's just, my head's full of stuff, So it could be that robbed me a little bit of the ability to enjoy it as much as I would have otherwise. I really would have liked to have seen this on the big screen. Alas, it did not work out that way. So I had to settle for the smaller screen in my home. But I'm glad I watched it. It was fun. I certainly wouldn't say no to watching it again. So it wasn't like I was turned off by it or anything like that. It's just, I think I was expecting to really like it a whole lot more than I did, but at the same time I didn't dislike it. So I don't know. Maybe it was just because, like I said, I was just in one of those moods and whatever. But okay, yeah, I thumbs up for this film, and I do recommend that you guys check it out. I think you'll probably like it too. So pretty decent. All right, nothing much more to add to this, you guys. I hear the rats in there fighting or running around or something. Okay, I hope you guys are doing well, and I will see you later. Bye.